welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D. The sisters then sat down to talk about the mean comments from people. Kylie teared up as she said, "Why do people think it's okay to talk about me?" Kendall consoled her and said that their family had to grow tough skin and be oblivious to people's comments because they had been under media scrutiny for a long time. Okay, so let's touch on that before we move any further. What did you think?
This scene, there's a lot of things circulating on social media, but this scene kind of peeved me, kind of really upset me, because Kendall's over here trying to console her sister at our expense. So, our expense meaning the fans and the people saying, well, people they just see us and they want to dehumanize us and they think that we don't have any feelings. And I can't remember her words. I wish I would have written it down. Essentially blaming us for hurting her sister's feelings or hurting their family feelings or, all our mean comments and things like that. Listen, girl, your family has developed these beauty standards for what, 20 years at this point? When the Kardashians initially came out and they were kids, what did we know the Kardashians for? The
Uh,
leisure dresses,
oh
their
yeah,
big butts, like curvaceous women, when we used to see, the stick thin models in the
right.
past. So they were the exception to the rule besides J-Lo and her Versace dress. So what have they done with that? They have used their sensuality, they have used their bodies, they have used their beauty to expand their empire to what it is. Everything that they do, they use their physical. So Kylie got lip injections or whatever she got, sold her Kylie lip kits, and now she has this huge 500 million plus company called Kylie Cosmetics. Kim has used her body, her shape for what? Skims. When she had that little mishap with kimono, but she named the Skims later. Whatever. We're not going to talk about that. She's used her body, even in her marketing, she uses people's bodies to promote this, which makes sense because it's undergarments kind of thing. Anything that they do, it's appealing to how they look. So if they are setting like these standards where like, well, you're supposed to kind of look like this or, wear this to feel pretty or buy this to look nice, you don't expect us to, I guess, attack you in these certain ways. Not that it's okay, but if we're trying to achieve that beauty, that success that you have, and we're trying to emulate what you are, of course we're going to call you out on it. It's like, well, I can't do that because you have 10,000 chefs and you have personal trainers and you have access to all these medical things to get Botox and things like that. Like, what are they expecting? We're not dehumanizing you. It's like you sold us this dream, not me personally, but just people overall. You sold us this thing and you just don't like the backlash of portion of it all. It's not all glitz and glam. You're going to have your bad sides too. What do you think?
Um, yeah, so I mean, on a human, like basic human level, I felt bad for her because she was a kid when all of this started and she has been made fun of many years for her appearance, just as her sisters have in the past. So she does have a point in that regard, right? She was a kid and obviously there's no real reason or no right reason for anybody to make fun of a child's appearance. So in that sense, like I did feel sorry for her. I felt bad for her because to grow up with that, it's not easy. Um but but I also think that when she became an adult, she monetized her looks the same way that her family had done.
Mm-hmm.
Um and in that sense, her family is also to blame here for her misfortune when it comes to how she feels, because her family initiated all of these impossible beauty standards and she then capitalized on it when she was able to. So at that point, it's kind of hard to fully feel sorry for her because they are millionaires and billionaires off of the impossible beauty standards that they have set for millions of women. At a certain point in time, I would say about what, like 8 or so years ago, everybody was cookie cutter, like exact replicas of Kardashians, doing their makeups, looks exactly like them, dressing like them. Everybody was getting BBLs, all of this stuff, right? And
Mhm.
then the Kardashian Jenner sisters decided we want to be really skinny. And so now everybody has been doing these like really skinny looks as well, with the buccal fat removal, with all these different things that people do. And it's, some of it can be cosmetic, some of it can be just people working out, weight loss and stuff, but there's also Ozempic. There's a lot of these different things that in one way or another, they are attached to these things
Mm.
because, like I mentioned earlier, Kim is one of the original influencers, and her sisters have only followed in those footsteps. And it's kind of hard to really like fully feel sorry for her. Again, like I said, because she is now an adult and she has for many years as an adult perpetuated the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then my other thought process with all of it is the fact that they have never ever really taken responsibility for any of it. There was past seasons where they tried to pretend like they were taking some sort of accountability, but they didn't. It was a lot of nothing that was said, where I think Kylie talked about, well, I wouldn't want my daughter to feel like she needs to change this or that. Okay, but you did that to many of other people's daughters. So where's the accountability in any of it? Excuse me. And with Kendall and what she was saying to her, um, it's really ironic, I think, coming from Kendall, who has been someone that has very publicly talked about her anxieties and her issues that she has had when it comes to a lot of like the public and things that come with fame. So for her to basically tell Kylie like, oh, we just need to grow tough skin, okay, but how can you really do that when you're constantly also throwing it back in people's faces that you're this or you're that or you look this way? You have glam rooms, you have um campaigns just fully showing the way that you look. We are constantly seeing photos on Instagram and other social media sites where they're wearing practically nothing. And again, it's just kind of like it's unfortunate that we're at this point. And no, I don't think that people have a right to make fun of other people's looks. But in some ways, like I think that pointing out like certain things is not necessarily making fun of them. Like we did a video um a few months ago or last year, I can't remember exactly, about the way that Kylie was looking aged. And that wasn't us making fun of her or trolling her or, saying mean things about her looks. It was just us pointing out the fact that this is a mid-20s woman, young woman, who has done so many things throughout her life cosmetically or allegedly, and now she looks a certain way. Can we say that within the last 6 to 8 months, Kylie has definitely looked a lot better? Yes, she has. She looks like she's young again and everything. But yeah, at one point she didn't look a certain way. And it's not, I know they wanted to say it's like lighting or bad angles. No. There's definitely like videos of a lot of these things that also came out. So it, again, it's not, I don't think we were making fun of them. I don't think we were, trying to like say anything negative necessarily, but just pointing out the fact that like, she looked older than some of her bigger sisters or older sisters, and that is just like a repercussion of the things that have been going on for so many years. So anyway, again, like I said, the lack of accountability makes me feel less sorry for the situation
Mhm.
because it's not going to stop, like they're going to keep doing this. And the last thing that I'll say about all that is right after that scene, we get confessionals that are filtered. So we're still not seeing you people as who you really are. The fact that people make jokes online about, oh, how many different faces has Chloe had, how many different faces Kylie has, whatever. Yes, that can be mean spirited, but we are getting filtered confessional videos of you guys because Kris Jenner is in her 70s, but they make her look like she's in her 50s. No wrinkles. There's no there's no amount of facelifts in the world that can make you look that good. So if we're getting filtered, photoshopped videos, pictures, and all that stuff of you guys, it's hard to take it seriously when you're saying that you feel so upset about the way that people troll you when you make it so that people don't know what you really look like. So that was really annoying afterwards. Literally, we rolled right into a next scene filtered.
I was gonna mention, I'm like, the Kardashians have a problem with aging,
Mm.
and their filters prove it. I saw somebody on Instagram saying, they're always so filtered and so perfect that people feel like they've been kind of gypped when they see like the real thing. But again,
Yeah.
that goes back to setting unrealistic beauty expectations. I don't know if it was in this scene or in the next episode, not this scene, but this episode or next episode. Kim says, I have 10 good years to look good for movies and things like that. So, what does that
It was this
say?
episode.
Oh, it was
It
this
was.
episode. I kind of
Mhm.
tuned her out, but I saw a reel on Instagram. So she says she got 10 good years. We know Kim is in her 40s. So what is she
Mhm.
saying? Life after that is like terrible. She's not going to give up Botox. Like, listen to what you guys are saying and doing. Kylie's over here every season trying to talk about these things, but then there goes Kim or somebody else like Kris. It's like, no, aging is terrible. So you can't blame, you're giving us mixed messages. It's like, hey, you're not as perfect. We're kind of like pointing out you're not as perfect as it seems on Instagram. It's all fake, it's all phony. So you can't have it both ways. Either you sell us this dream and take it in the chin, or if you want to be real, then maybe we'll respect you more.
Oh
Simple
yeah,
as simple as that.
for sure. Because I mean, it just feels like it's a constant thing where it's like they want to play the victim, but don't acknowledge what they did to get to this point. And when Kim made that comment, um, to me, immediately I thought about the Kylie conversation because it's like, okay, so you're saying that you are basically utilizing your looks, your body again for capital gains
Mhm.
at whatever expense, and then what, you're gonna like not do that anymore. That's, we know that's not the case. We
Yeah.
see that Kris Jenner constantly hides her hands because you can't get de-aging surgery on your hands. We see that at times she hides her neck, which other celebrities that are older also do the same thing to hide, some of the wrinkles there. And so that's where I just kind of feel like, again, it doesn't feel fully authentic, right? To like see it all from a spectrum of like, this is so horrible, the way that they're treated. And when Kendall said like, oh, they're dehumanizing us and stuff, ma'am, you dehumanized yourselves to us a long time ago. Um, I don't think we are necessarily doing that. And I'm not saying that there aren't mean people on the internet. There are. We've had comments in our videos about our looks. So we know that there are trolls out there. We know there are people that are negative out there. But just in general, her making that comment about the dehumanization, that wasn't us that started that. That was your family that did
Mhm.
that. And people running with it, I mean, it's kind of hard to blame them for it when that is what, we've seen or whatever for, what, nearly 2 decades at this point.
Now that you brought up Kris, I'm like, Kris, like you said, hides all these things, and she's no stranger to plastic surgery or whatever she does. But then at the same time, she pokes fun at being old or older or aging. because we see in the previous episodes and other seasons of the Kardashians, this season she has a hearing problem
Mhm.
and she's flipping out about all these things. And there was an article that says, Chris is trying to capitalize on all these fake health issues just to keep the Kardashians going. So her bringing up all the bad side, I guess, or the natural side of aging, like losing your hearing or wrinkles or I don't know, your knees hurting, your hip replacement. It's all associated with bad things, consciously or subconsciously. So it's not also what you say, it's also what you do.
Yeah. And that's, again, it's all contradictory. And
Mm-hmm.
that is very much their brand. Their brand is contradictory. Like you want
Contradictory. Just put it there.
with a K. Contradictory with a
Oh.
K. With a K. Because, like, no, think about it. They are obsessed with looks and body image and all these different things, and they try to sell us this reality through their reality TV show. But
Mhm.
it's the reality shows heavily filtered and photoshopped and executive produced by the same people that are starring in it. Therefore, they are able to make the same edits to make themselves look better. So who is putting these filters? They are.
Mhm.
Who is photoshopping these things? They are. I mean, it's like I said, it goes back to the same thing. It just kind of feels disingenuous. A lot of like when they have these sort of conversations, it falls flat.
Lastly, what do we think about the Kendall Kylie exchange?
Hmm.
What do we think about these beauty standards? Do you feel bad for Kylie crying, or you know she set herself up? Let us
Right.
know. But that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can be our friends and we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. You can also listen to the videos in podcast format via Spotify and YouTube Music.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye bye.